Here's another paradox for you. The paradox of the strong ego and a weak self. Let that sink in, my fascinating Renaissance friends, in this episode, okay, episode 109. Right? Let that sink in. The paradox of a strong ego and a weak self. You know, if you read, some common, books about, you know, uh, uh, you know, um, have a strong presence so that people are intimidated. That's how you get your power because you keep quiet. They perceive you to be weak, and the weak people do not get ahead. Success depends upon strong people. Or people who can command. Who can command what, who command attention and things like that. Okay, here's another paradox for you. Okay, let me read. Okay, we're still trying to explore. You know, we're still in the process of exploring philosophy. It's a way of life, and these are all philosophies, no? Because these are guidelines. These are all, not just quotes. These are all principles that we make ourselves to help us live intentional lives. Okay, and so the writer of this paradox says the clear sign that you have a big ego is the degree to which you protect yourself. Okay, so the stronger the ego, the weaker the self. So in psychology, the self and the ego are differentiated. The self is who you are, the ego is who you think you are, and the kind of image that you project, that you project to the outside world. The self is the essence of who you are. So it's very, very different. Okay? The more armor, or let me repeat. So the stronger the ego, okay, the more we hide behind, our false self, the weaker the real self. Okay, the more armor you wear, the more fragile you actually are. Armor are the things that we use to cover our true self. We try to act, arrogant. We try to act strong when in fact inside us we're actually squirming of fear. As armor says, the more armor you wear, the more fragile you actually are. So, okay, hear this, my friends. Defensiveness, that everything, okay, that everything, that every feedback you get, even if the feedback is meant to help you, we begin to defend ourselves. Okay, defensiveness, justification, and the need to control how others see you are all signs that egos are running the show. Okay. What's the paradox? The paradox is that the more you surrender your need to defend, okay, the more you surrender your need to defend yourself, the freer you become. Okay. So the ego doesn't just show up as arrogance. There you go. The moment you experience the arrogance of people like, no, I'm better than you. No, I don't need your advice. I can do this. I am the only one who is right here. Everybody's wrong. It's arrogance. Ego equals arrogance. Okay? The ego doesn't just show up as arrogance. It hides behind defensiveness, control, and the fear of being exposed. Okay, so they cannot really let go of their defenses because their real self, will be exposed. I think the other term for that is the imposter syndrome. Like deep inside, we know we aren't that good, but we project, okay, that we know everything. And so when we are corrected, we refuse to accept it. Okay, the more you feel the need to protect yourself, the more fragile your sense of self may actually be. Now, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, of course, we have every right to protect ourselves, our physical safety. But we're talking about, when we're talking about, emotional fragility here. Real strength isn't about proving anything, it's about not needing to. I like that so much, I'd like to repeat that for you. Real strength isn't about proving anything, it's about not needing to prove it at all. Why? Because we are so confident in our own skin that, if they say things, it doesn't really bother us. Of course, again, I do not want you to think, oh, so Miss Malu, we will just allow ourselves to be, to be bullied. We just have to accept all of this, bad things written about us. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that because we are talking about boundaries here. Boundaries, okay? You have to have boundaries, but it doesn't mean that you have to pick every battle and defend yourself. It's really choosing your battles, okay? So just to add to what I just read, okay, here's another one from a different author. And this really shows us, that even if they say things in a different way, it still is part, of the same philosophy. Okay, in a world designed to keep us needing, the man who needs nothing becomes a mirror. Hmm. A quiet rebellion against manipulation. See? Because if we always need to be liked, and so we become defensive, even a small little thing, affects us because our armor, is being affected. Okay, then we are ripe for manipulation. So it says it, the man who needs nothing to prove becomes a mirror is a quiet rebellion against manipulation. True power isn't loud or forceful. It's still, meaning it's quiet, it's tranquil, centered and rooted in self possession. What is self possession? You already possess the power and you know it. You don't have to force people to see it. Okay? Perhaps freedom isn't found in gaining more, but in letting go of what never belonged to us. The man who doesn't care about power, okay, the man who doesn't care about power is not weak or passive, but because he sees through the game, meaning when a person stops craving for power, he becomes immune to it. And this is what terrifies, okay, people the most. This is the paradox. There you go again. This man becomes more powerful than those who do everything to have power. Why? People admire what they cannot explain and are drawn to what they sense as free. This man has more reverence than those who sit on the throne. Let that sink in, you know. The man who is still, the man who is quiet, the man who does not defend himself. Okay, every time there is something lodged against them, unless of course it is absolutely necessary, to correct the error so that the truth will come out. But the man who just sits still, is the man who has the power, because he becomes what he becomes formidable. He cannot be manipulated because of what? Because he knows he has the power. He can use it whenever it is necessary, but he doesn't have to prove to everybody, he can prove to everybody that he has the power and always threaten people to use it, even though it is not necessary. Okay? Do you like that kind of a paradox? I love it. In fact, I was able to deduce, okay, meaning extrapolate from all of this my own personal philosophy. And how is that? You know, um, uh, the more I have nothing to lose, the more powerful I become. That's my personal philosophy. If I am not afraid of losing, okay, whatever that is, losing the game, losing the friends, the more I am not afraid to lose, the more powerful I become. And I've seen that, play out in my life, in my business. It's not being arrogant, it's really just standing my ground. Okay. And so a manipulation, if people say, oh, if some people dangle, oh, we will not be your friend anymore, they dangle all of this, well, I said, I care a lot about you, but if you stop caring about me, I will let you. Because, if you're really my friend, that is not how you should be treating me, because I don't treat you that way. But if you want to not be my friend, I'll let you go. Okay? Fine. So, there's more to come. My fascinating Renaissance people, and so again, let's engage and like and subscribe. So I'll be seeing you again, in the next episode. Goodbye.